Hey, everybody, and welcome to Hey, Write Your Book Already. Today, we're going to talk about the five-part process of writing a book. If you're going to write your book, you're going to have to go through this process. Some of you will take 3 months, some 6 months, some 9 months, just like having a baby, some a year. Some have been writing your book since 20 years ago. Whatever it is, you publish or you perish. At some point, you've decided this is going to be the year for me to write my book. Let me tell you what you can expect ahead. There's five-part process. I'm going to use this, right? This is the process. This video addresses the process. 5 parts with your fingers, your 5 fingers. Number 1, you have to write. Number 1, you have to write. In order to write a book, you have to write a book. Okay? People have books in their mind, and wouldn't it be fun to write about that? Or, yeah, I've jotted down a couple things. You have to write. At some point, you should have to sit down in front of a desk, in front of a computer, in front of a legal yellow notepad, and write the actual words that are coming out of your brain. It has to be from your brain to the page. First thing is to write. You write your book. The process that I use to write my books is the first thing is come up with an idea, right? An idea, maybe a sermon series I did, maybe a talk that I gave, maybe something I've repeated and I've taught to somebody and it's resonated. It's an idea. Then I write an outline, very simple outline. I don't get bogged in the details. I don't want to have every word correct, and I want to have a catchy title. I don't want to come up with great chapter starting stories. I don't want to do all that. I just want to get like a basic outline, right? Don't get bogged on the details. And then after you have the basic outline, then I start filling in the chapters. I start writing. I write. And after I'm done writing the book, I have the chapters, the 10 chapters. I usually write about 10 chapters. Those are my books. You can choose to write 5 or 25. It's up to you what kind of book you want to write. First thing is to write. The second one is the editing process. This is my recommendation. Some of you might disagree and push back. This is just what I've seen. It's much better with somebody else who knows what they're doing, not your cousin Perry or your sister Karen or your Aunt Maria. I want you to find somebody who does this for a living, that they charge for it. And you can expect good results depending on how much you invest in it. If you're going to cut corners, don't cut corners anywhere, but don't cut corners, especially in the editing process. So you first write, then you have the editing process. After the book is edited, you read it again, make sure everything is good. And probably the editor, you're going to go back and forth a couple times so you can make all the necessary changes. And then you send it to the graphic designer. It's the person who does the cover, the person who makes it look nice, right? It's the person who makes the cover like this. It makes, the stuff like in the front, makes it looks like, hey, this looks like a book, right? It's not just a Word document. It looks like a book. Once again, don't skip out on paying these people. Sometimes we try to get, I know graphic design, will tell you a friend, and then you go with them and your book looks like trash and then it doesn't sell, and then you blame yourself and you feel really bad because your book looks like trash because you paid the wrong person. Invest in some people and somebody who knows what they're doing, who've done this before, who do this for a living. It's not just like a side hustle. Layout of the book. That's part 3. Part 4 is the actual printing of the book. You take the book, you send the book to the printing press, and whether you can go 2 ways, right? You can submit your manuscript and the printing press takes care of everything, or you can do self-publishing, right? Where you control every single aspect of the process and you find yourself a press, you find yourself a printing press that will print your books. The more you print, the cheaper it becomes, the higher your profit margins. I'll tell you right now, if you self-publish, it's harder to get the product out there because you have to do all the promotion. You don't have the machinery behind you, but you get a higher profit margin. If you find somebody who's going to publish the book for you, your margins are going to be considerably lower, but you might potentially have a wider reach because they take care of everything, they do everything, and they promote everything. So it's on them, right? All you got to do is write the book. That's the printing part. And then when you get the books in your hand, then it's the last part, is you promote your book. You start selling your book. Your book starts going in people's hands, and they start reading it and putting really good stuff on social media and hoping you sell out. And you have to have a second printing, and then you're gonna send me a royalty check because you were inspired by this video. And you say, "Thank you, Roger, for inspiring me." And my address, you know where I live. Just you can cash out me, right? That's the process. That's a simple process. Now, let me tell you 3 things as I finish. We're gonna have a whole series of videos. I want to go from A to Z. Everything I know about printing a book, I'm gonna put it on a video. I've published 30 of them, so I have a little bit of an idea what the costs are and stuff. And I'm also going to do a couple of lives so we can ask questions from each other. Number 1, don't get bogged down in editing. Don't do your own editing. Don't try to make every word perfect. Why are you paying an editor if you're going to edit your own book? Well, I don't like the way this. They don't judge. Editors don't judge. Well, they actually do, but they're cool about it. Because they're trying to get paid, right? So they're gonna have a lot of red marks. No matter how good you think your manuscript is, they're gonna tear it apart. So save yourself the trouble and the time of editing your own book. Send it to somebody who's gonna do it for you. Number 1, don't get bogged down in the editing. Don't get bogged down in the title. Like I want a super cool title, and I have written the book, but I can't find the title. Come on. Don't get back down on the title. Number 2, you decide whether you want to self-publish or you want to submit your manuscript for publication. That's much harder. You can self-publish and nobody gets in the way. You can do the whole process and nobody will tell you no at any point because you are your own boss. It's a matter of you buying and you're betting on yourself, right? Don't bet, by the way, because we don't do that. But you're betting on yourself, saying I can sell these books, versus submitting it to a publishing house for publication. They decide then whether your manuscript is going to sell or not. And out of 1,000 that come in, maybe 5 get picked. It's a really low number. So you have to decide what way you want to do. Maybe you do both. But if they publish it, then you can't self-publish because you can't do both at the same time. You can't sell over here and then they can't sell over there because you already sold over there. You understand what I'm saying? And number 3, start promoting early. The moment you start writing, start promoting. This will do 2 things for you. Number 1 is going to keep you on task. It's going to keep you accountable because you already put on social media that you're writing a book. Give constant updates because it's going to prepare the people. So when you do come out with the book, they're like, yeah, I know you've been writing about this. You've been sharing some of the concepts. I want to get that book. It will attract attention even before you get, and you can have pre-orders and have people pre-order the book and pay for it. You already know, okay, hey, I've sold 100 copies and $10 each, that's $1,000. So I can have that money and I can invest in more books and I can expand my market. Oh man, this book is not selling at all. Maybe I have to make some more phone calls. Maybe I have to go in person and make presentations. Who do I have to reach out to? Start early to promote your book. Very well. Thank you for joining us. Remember, this is a whole series. I'm going to go from A to Z. Watch them, share them. If you know somebody who's a writer who wants to write a book, reach out. I cannot read your manuscript, but I can give you some counsel. Maybe you want to have a phone call. Say, hey, can you have 30 minutes for me? I want to ask you some questions. Call me. I'm always on the road. I'm driving places. I'm on, 5 hours on the road. We can have a conversation. And I can tell you, hey, here's some landmines to avoid. But watch the videos, watch the whole series. And if you have any questions, just reach out. And remember that if God is for us, those who are against us are wasting their time.